home intrusions, beating up a man who was 85 years old, breaking his skull. Why is that? Why is that? Did we blame Christianity for that? No, and we would never do that. Because this would be unbiased. This would be tainted. This would be malicious. This would have malicious intent. This would not be a benign view. This would be malignant because it would cause hatred between people. And we would never do something like that from an Islamic standpoint of view. Do unto others as you would have them done unto you. Why would you not take the log out of your eye, before you actually push a pin into somebody else? Why don't you think about that? Then this study continues. Although the rates of spousal homicide have decreased over the last 20 years, the number of children killed by family members has increased over 10% during the past 2 decades. Statistics Canada, 2000. About 1/3 of the filicide in BCIFW, meaning to say that the BC Institute of Against Family Violence, this is the study that they have conducted, occurred following parental separation. Sometimes children are killed along with the parent, usually the mother. But in 3/4 of the post-separation homicides involving children in this study, children were only victims. The perpetrators had not necessarily abused their children previously. Another third of the filicide in this study occurred within the context of child abuse. Protective agencies have been involved in every case, and each death coincided with a communication breakdown. Between agencies across regional boundaries, between replacement workers, or between workers and families. Other contributing factors in the study included parental mental illness, substance abuse, and social isolation. Statistics Canada reported from 1997 that 25% of Canadian perpetrators were subsequently committed suicide. As a percentage of perpetrators, more women committed filicide than homicide. Although the percentage of women committing filicide is not as high as the percentage of men committing either homicide or filicide. Where biological parents commit the crime, mothers and fathers are equally culpable. Where the relationship is non-biological, fathers are implicated more often. So mothers and fathers are equally culpable when this crime is committed. We have to let the investigation take place. We have, at least to most part, we have a good investigation team. At least if it's not involving Muslims, or we would hope that they would still do their job, because there are still good people in the forces doing their jobs. I mean, obviously you can see the taser victim from Czechoslovakia, or one of the European countries, when he was coming, he was tasered. This was 4 Mounties that did that. We did not blame Christianity because they were Christians. We did not do that. We didn't say, oh, let's see what the Bible has to say about that. We didn't do that. So why are you bringing the Quran, Islam, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and go, oh, this is sexual deviance, and this is the sickness that actually comes by when you pent up so much hatred into your heart. Love thy neighbor. This is what the teaching in the Bible is. Is it not true? So where is the love? I have to my left, where I live, I have missionaries who have a great deal of respect for me, and I have a great deal of respect for them. And there's a very loving relationship between us as neighbors. So if we were to be like that, we would actually conduct ourselves in a much better way. For children and youth under 18 years of age, the highest risk of homicide occurs in the first 3 years of life. Between 1979 and 1998, 55 to 70% of all children killed by parents were 3 years old or younger. 3 years old or younger. So when they're making a mockery and saying, oh, 16 years old, how young? Yes, that's true, how young, it is true. But what it's saying here in statistics, that 70% of all children that were killed were 3 years old or younger. Rates varied by parental perpetrators, Statistics Canada 2000. In 70% of young children's death, mothers were responsible, and in 55% of homicides of children under 3, fathers were identified as perpetrators. These are statistics, folks. This is hard facts that we have brought. And these are not facts that are brought just out of thin air. These are facts brought, but they're underestimated because people don't report it. But they have to go and dig for it. That's why the BC Institute Against Family Violence, an overview of family violence, they have done a great job because it's a non-profit organization, at least bringing forth some truth. So out of all of those deaths that took place 3 years and younger, and all of those deaths that took place 10 years and younger, and 15 years and younger, nobody cried bloody to say, oh look, Christianity here is to blame, Judaism here is to blame, Buddhism here is to blame, Hinduism here is to blame. Why blame Islam only? I remember reading a Time magazine, front cover one time, just walking through an airport, many years ago. It said, the Islamic bomb. Did they have a Buddhist bomb, a Hindu bomb, a Sikh bomb, Christian bomb? How can you have an Islamic bomb, a Muslim bomb? What kind of nonsense is this? You can see that it is totally tainted and totally disturbing for human beings to be living in this day and age, to be having such biases. Because this is exactly what Hitler did, folks. This is what he did against Jews, Gypsies, and anyone against the Aryan race. This was the project of eugenics that was taken from America, from Charles Darwin and his cohorts, and subjected into the minds of the sick Hitler. And he actually went farther than that because he wanted a rich Aryan race. So he started annihilating everyone, including the German people who were mentally deficient, who had schizophrenia. Then he started doing all of those things. He did acts of horrid proportions. But he started with the media first. He started making the Jewish people look evil. And they kept doing it and kept on having the Germans imbibe this hatred day in and day out, until he came to his final solution. There was a point where he halted some of his killings because some of the Christian clergy stood up and said, this is wrong, so he halted it because there was some glitch in his media overdose. Are we going down that path with the Muslims? Is there going to be a final solution on the Muslims? This is what I'm trying to say. Why are we even thinking like that? Make it fair for everyone. If the Muslim has done the crime, blame the crime on the Muslims. Say, yeah, Ahmed so-and-so has done the crime. Give him due right, due process. This is what makes the North American justice system so great. But the greatness is only achieved through justice, not through injustice. I come to my third part of the talk, where I read one of the comments on National Post site. It said, talking to one of the girls who used to wear the hijab, she said, "You are brainwashed to cover up, and that is why you do it. You are brainwashed." Look at the language, because I picked the most, not the eloquent, but the most unabrasive, meaning to say it wasn't as harsh as the other ones. He said, "You are brainwashed to cover up, and that is why you do it." She's already made an assumption that Muslim women are brainwashed. There is no shame in showing your hair. It is not immodest. Wouldn't you prefer to live where people believing what you do? I also never understand why women have to cover up and men don't. Where is the equality? Tell me this is not oppression. Tell me, she says, this is not oppression. Because she wants the Muslim woman to take off their hijab. Now we could say many things about hijab, and we could have many why the Muslim women do it. It is a condition, for example, if you were to become, say, a Hindu, they have rituals to go in the Ganges, to go to the temple, to do certain acts, rituals. You would do something like this, and they would have their dress code. Same thing as Judaism, same thing in Christianity. You would have certain dress codes. Now, why only in the case of Islam the dress code is now made or vilified? We would take that to mean that you have biasness in you. So we could say, well, if you join McDonald's, you would wear the McDonald's uniform, and there's no compulsion for you to work in McDonald's. You don't have to work in McDonald's. But if you work in McDonald's, obviously you would not come in with a Kentucky Fried Chicken outfit.